I'd also like to touch on what success is from person to person, particularly from the perspective of the PKU community. See, there's like 10% of the community, roughly, just off the top of my head, who are high flyers, the big achievers. So their idea of success would probably be academic achievement, gaining qualifications, and moving on to having a successful career, and then probably sharing their successes aimed to inspire others. There's then the remaining 90% of the community, some of which they're doing all right in life, they're working, they've got a good, positive and healthy lifestyle going, and they might be managing their PKU, and day-to-day life is quite a happy existence, and they're just happy with their lot, you know. So, and their idea of success is just to be living a happy lifestyle, you know. But then there's a chunk of the community, or a chunk of those 90% of people who aren't like the big achievers, who are living in struggle. They just can't get going with the dietary lifestyle, and they're stuck. They just can't get out the bit, and their mentality may not be in the best place, and they might be stuck in a bit of a vicious cycle of hardship, you know, and they might be affected with the high phenylalanine effects in the similar way to what I was when I was off diet and stuff like that, you know. So, and their idea of success would be just to find a rhythm of life that's feels a little bit kinder, be able to establish themselves with a winning formula, and just a rhythm of life that works for them and keeps them feeling more in control and positive. And yeah, so different ideas of success for different categories of the community, and I'm sure that you could break the community down further, but that just kind of highlights that there's people in, say, the people who are experiencing the most difficulties in the community. I think there's a real need for those people to be sharing, to be seeing how they feel, and sharing what's not working for them, what is working for them, and so the other people who are having similar experiences can hear or read their thoughts and feelings, and they feel like, oh right, well, I'm not alone. I'm having similar experiences here. The people within that 90% of PKUers who are not necessarily academic achievers and career people, but they're just doing okay in life, and they're happy with their bit. They've got their lifestyle into a position where it works for them, and they might not communicate their message like, oh well, I've achieved this and I've moved on to this career and stuff like that. They might not be able to kind of give off that kind of story, but their success, their success in terms of having a happy, balanced lifestyle, and they might feel it's just very ordinary the way that they've got things, but that's actual success, really, and it's a dream for those who can't get out the bit, the people who are having difficulty with the lifestyle, you know. So it just kind of goes to show that everybody's got a voice, you know, everybody's got something to say, and the academic big achievers and the careers people, their light shines so brightly, but the voices from other areas of the community is in many ways actually more valuable and more helpful to the rest of the community. There's just so much that hasn't been said in that. I just wanted to kind of point out really that success isn't all to do with academic achievement, and it's not all to do with having a high flying career. It's having a happy lifestyle that works for you. You know, that's the thing. And you know, like see if I went to do a talk on PKU, like I can twist it any which way that I want to, really, you know. So, for example, I went to do a talk, and they says, right, what we want from you is we want you to deliver a success story, and I can lean on the fact that, yeah, okay, well, I was off diet, I got back on diet when I was 28. I realised that I had new potential on when I returned to diet. So I went to university, I got myself a degree, and I've since relocated to Scotland, and now I'm married to somebody who also has PKU, and we lived happily ever after. But there's more to be said than that, you know, and it's the nitty gritty that needs to be spoken, because that's where the understandings are hard, you know. You've got to dig deeper so people can relate, so people can kind of like take something from it, you know. It's like, and you know, like, people will have experiences and they might be like, oh, I'm having these like the effects of high phenylalanine levels, and I mean, I would like to think that, oh, I remember Paul speaking about that. I know what that is. I need to get back on track, you know. And you know what? Those who were just happy with their lot and they just living, might be very ordinary jobs, but they've just got a nice family life going and everything's working out for them. It's just fine, you know. They're going to work, coming home, everything's fine, you know, and they're just living life. That's success. Yeah. And the message of academic achievement and career high flying, like, to the people who are struggling, they're not going to hear that. They're not going to get that, you know. They're not going to be inspired by it. Not really. How will they? You know, there's such a gap between their reality and the reality of the story that's being told by the career people and the academic achievers. Too much of a gap. Can't relate to that, you know. They need to just get out of the bit. They just need to find a system that works for them, so they can just relieve the burden of struggle, you know. And then maybe they might find themselves in the category of people in the community who are in ordinary jobs, doing ordinary things, but living a full, happy life with seeing friends and family and doing things that they enjoy, you know. And then, so they'll have kind of moved to a different group of people in the community who are just in a happier place, you know. Maybe those who have a system that works for them and they're just happy with their lot can inspire or give ideas to the ones who are struggling to help them move their lives into a happier place. The 90%, 90% of the community are not really speaking. They're not really getting their message out because they themselves probably feel like, oh, nobody will want to hear my story. It's just ordinary, you know. I'm just going to work and coming home. But the thing is, you're going to work and you're coming home and you're living a happy family life and and things are working for you. That's useful. to people who can't get out of bed. You may not have went to university, but that doesn't really, that doesn't mean that you're not a success in terms of PKU. I think like as well is that like from a mental health perspective as well, those who are struggling, how can they recover from that if people that are in the same situation are not speaking out? I just feel like if people from all walks of the community, like, doesn't matter what your experience is, you speak your truth, other people will relate to that truth. And there'll be people living different realities who will be able to relate as well, you know? I just feel like when you only hear major successes from 10% of the community, there's 90% left. 90% of the community who have insights and feelings that are probably more valid, because the goal of 90% of the community is more than likely just, let's just find a comfortable, happy rhythm in life and just move with it. You know, that's all. It's all. You know.